Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to fight for the title. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the black corner, weighing in at 74.65 kilograms. He comes to the ring unbeaten and with a 100% knockout ratio. 13 wins, all 13 wins come by way of knockout. Presenting a WBO Asia Pacific title challenger, he comes to us from Domingang, Zamboanga, Philippines. It's the Trigger Man, Weljon Mindoro. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the gold corner and weighed in at 74.65 kilograms. He comes to the ring a seasoned campaigner, 38 contests, including 29 wins. 14 of those wins come by way of knockout. An IBF Australasian, a WBC Asian, an IBF Pan-Pacific, and an Australian champion. He comes to us from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, Yoel Camilleri.
So the opening round underway. This is 8 3-minute rounds for the Asian Continental title at 75 kilogram middleweight. Between two accomplished operators, and the man wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold is the undefeated professional Weljon Mindoro. 14 fights, 1 draw, 13 wins, all of them coming inside the distance. No stranger to fighting outside of the Philippines, because his last 2 contests have been in the United States, where he has produced a KO of the year candidate in July against Tyler Goodjohn, getting him out of there in the second round of a contest scheduled for 8. As for Joel Camilleri, he competing in his 3rd contest of 2024. Spoke to Camilleri yesterday, said that he admires Andre SOG Ward, 2004 Olympic champion, still the last American male to claim Olympic gold. Claressa Shields, of course, took 2 Olympic titles in London and Rio. But he said the ring IQ of Andre Ward is what he admires. And he said that facing a puncher of this caliber and this repute really didn't hold any fears for him, as he scores with a flicking jab, then he doubled it up, not too accurate with the second pair of lead lefts. But he said that he intends to use that shot to frustrate the puncher. He said he's been in with punches, as he lands a looping roundhouse right. And he says that the pressure that he will bring with his elusiveness, his ring craft and variety will just render Mindoro a frustrated figure, and then he'll start looking for the KO. And in the meantime, Camilleri told me that he will be piling up the points. Said this an opportunity to showcase his skills, because at his best he feels he's a match for anyone. So no shortage of confidence for the man from Melbourne. Since moved to Sydney to manage the Costa Zoo boxing school. After his contest with Tim Zhu, moved into that role earlier this year. Right cross, left hook to the body, left hook on the inside, landed by Camilleri. And again, Camilleri just content to box behind a low-held guard, protecting his abdomen with that lead right hand, the left hand wandering around his quad and kneecap. Walks his man back across the ring. Remember, both men scaling an identical 74.65 kilograms. Good use of the feet, as darting laterally both left and right is Camilleri. Weljon Mindoro seeking to pin him against the body. Left hook after turning the tables, landed by Camilleri. Competitive opening round of boxing.
It was. Camilleri was doing a really good job right up until the last 15-20 seconds. He was keeping Mindoro turning and moving. He was nice and busy. He landed a really good right hand to the body, actually, about 40 seconds out from the end of the round, as Mindoro came forward, just dipped his knees and sank it into the ribs as he was coming forward. But then right at the end of the round, Mindoro just managed to get him back onto the ropes and get to work himself. So Camilleri's won that opening round, I would say, but Mindoro will be happy enough because he was just trying to cover that movement off, trying to cut the ring off, and then right at the end of the round there, exactly what he would have wanted to happen, which would have been that bit of encouragement, came his way. And he was able just to let his hands go a little bit. Mindoro's got that power, the confidence that comes with that power. Artur Beterbiev down at ringside, another undisputed champion. Everywhere you look.
Speaking of power, prior to going the distance with Dmitry Bivol in that battle for the undisputed title at 175 pounds light heavyweight, 100% KO ratio for a man at the top of his profession as a reigning world champion. He knows a thing or two about power, but not loading up everything within his shape. As good right hand to the body, followed by a left hook upstairs from Camilleri, but then Mindoro backing his man across the ropes with a forward foray, but keeping his composure under fire and answering with a single was Camilleri. Mindoro just seeking to end that little coming together with a right uppercut, but pulling the trigger first against the trigger man is Camilleri, now backing him up to his own corner with nudging right uppercuts, and it's physical on the inside. So action just on the edge of range as Camilleri continuing to be, oh, what a beautiful left jab, my goodness, came out on an upward trajectory from out of the line of sight of Mindoro, from around the kneecap, just cracked right into his face to disrupt his forward movement. Beautiful shot with that lead left from Camilleri as the two men test the tension of the strand just above our commentary position. Approaching the halfway stage, the overhand right from Camilleri was a speculative shot, continuing to move effectively laterally, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Mindoro quick-footed with his advances, trying to close the gap, but invariably the man breaking the standoff by letting his hands go first is Camilleri, and it's a disruptive staccato rhythm that he's boxing at, and Mindoro hasn't yet got to grips with that rhythm to demonstrate his own timing. And even though he's in with a noted knockout artist, Camilleri goes by the nickname of Kama KO. 14 wins of his 29 coming via the short route, remember, and there's that disruptive left hand once again, and Mindoro reduced to swinging and missing with his vaunted backhand. Tried the lead left hook, but blocked effectively by the gloves and forearm of Camilleri. So Mindoro continuing to shape up nicely. Camilleri, again, dynamic figure up in the boxing ring as he circumnavigates, his back skimming against the ropes. Turns the tables once more. Mindoro content to accept the clinch before the intervention of the referee to separate the two. Closing seconds of the second round, and again, just even though Mindoro made his man miss and came out of a crouch with a speculative overhand right, the dynamic darting and elusive movement of Camilleri just give you the impression that he's controlling the tempo, or at least setting the tempo and the terms in which this contest is being fought. He's doing a good job so far, particularly in that second round, because he did in the second round what he did in the first, but crucially he didn't have the final 15 or 20 seconds in the second round that he had in the first, where Mindoro got on top of him a little bit. So that kind of wind that was in the sails of Mindoro at the end of the first, he's taken it back out again, and he's doing a good job of negating him and using that lead left back jab well enough to score like he does there. I really like fights like this because it's quite a simple formula, isn't it? You've got one fighter in Mindoro who's the hunter, who's trying to track him down, land on him, slow him down, and then take him out in the second half. That's what he's doing. And Camilleri's got to keep this going. As we have a look at Bakidir Zhilolov sitting in front of, I think, Artur Beterbiev. That's a merciless combination if ever there was one. They know all about tracking an opponent, hunting him down in the second half, particularly Beterbiev. You've got to stay patient if you're Mindoro, but you've got to start making a little bit more contact on Camilleri. As we said in an earlier fight, shoulders, forearms, whatever, just make sure you start landing. Well, Mindoro out aggressively and letting a fusillade of punches go, and a couple of the body shots did get through, followed by a flashing right uppercut. Pinned in his own corner is Camilleri, keen to try and fashion a clinch, but then just, oh, beautiful two-shot salvo to the body from Mindoro. Perhaps his best punches of the entire contest, as he sunk his feet into the canvas and got real leverage onto his shots. But now it's Camilleri walking down a knockout artist, and he's teeing away to the body before cuffing away with a right man who is used to touching opponents and seeing them fall. Will the curse of the puncher befall Weljon Mindoro tonight? Still early days, of course, in this battle for the Asian Continental title at 75 kilograms, but oftentimes when a puncher is landing cleanly and the opponent is still there, well, sometimes the puncher's instinct can be to just dig away harder. And even though they say they're prepared to go the distance, and no doubt physically they are, can sometimes play tricks in the mind of the expert finisher. That is what the Trigger Man has proven to be during his professional career to this point, having made his debut in 2019. But Camilleri, with a cuffing right hand and then tying his man up to waltz him back to the space of centre ring, is boxing a clever physical contest. Left-right combination not too far away from Mindoro, but Camilleri tucking up behind his shoulder to ward off the incoming fire. And again, it's a disruptive lead left that he's continuing to work behind Camilleri, proffering the half-cover guard. There he fires an overhand right. The left hook which followed may have glanced the nose of Mindoro after the right hand was inaccurate. Clocking up the miles on his fistic odometer as he glides around the perimeter of the ring. Camilleri, Mindoro. Again, when Andy and I were observing him work out at the Rocky Road Gym, as a flashing left-right combination catches the advancing Mindoro from Camilleri. He's possessed of that timing that just produces a distinctive sound. Overhand left was a barroom brawl of a blow from Mindoro. Couldn't quite find a range as he walked his man down, but Camilleri landing with the inside of the glove, and then an altogether cleaner right hand, and another one from Camilleri, followed by a left hook, boxing beautifully off the ropes as Mindoro tries to respond with a right uppercut of his own. But he's walked back across the ring by Camilleri, who is just neutralizing the bombs that are housed in the boxing gloves of the left and right fists of Mindoro. Terrific work by Camilleri to smother the man from the Philippines, who's looking for a right hand off the back foot, and a very clever display once again produced in that third round by Camo KO.
It was, but I would sound a note of caution there for him if I was a trainer. You don't want to really mix it up too much with this guy if you don't have to. He's boxed really well so far, his confidence will be high. Maybe he's felt the power from Mindoro and thought to himself, you know what, it's not all that. These 13 people you've knocked out, they're not me. I've been on the end of this, and I don't think it's necessarily anything to worry about, but you don't want
appreciate your time.
Fight
and,
his
we know
kind
there are a lot of stars who are happy to take pictures with you, but just
which is what he was threatening
bouts,
to do towards the end of that round. That's not to say that he
you.
can't win that kind of fight, or it could be that his feet are just slowing down a little bit and he's been forced to do it because, as you mentioned, he is locking up the miles, he's up on his toes. It's a tiring way to fight. Mindoro will be hoping that some of the gas is going out of his tank for that reason. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses, because 5 rounds to go, that's a long time.
So Camilleri no stranger to going the 10-round distance, so 8 rounds for this Asian title won't hold any fears for him. But again, it's a very dynamic manner of boxing. As for Mindoro, who bulldozed his man back to the ropes and lands with a right cross. Clever boxing out of the corner from Camilleri, who's remained responsible. But now he's beginning to be teed off upon by Mindoro. Is this a stoppage? No, it's a standing count. So, referee Valery Pastuhov stepping in with a standing count after hooks and uppercuts began to crash home against Camilleri. Oh, that's a beautiful right hand on the resumption, but now Mindoro has got his man going and he's seeking to demonstrate that he is a precise and merciless finisher once again. It's an awful long time to negotiate. Beautiful left hook, but then a right hand in response from Camilleri. But Mindoro really is finding the range on his punches now and wearing all of them flush. Is Camilleri. He's endured a torrid minute and 10 seconds so far. He's taken a standing count. Back into the breach steps Mindoro. Senses that he's got his man going. He's wrestled him down to the canvas. That gives him some brief respite. The referee wipes the gloves clean and he's walked onto a shot, which was an uppercut, which sends Camilleri to the canvas to take the second count of the round. There's still a minute and a half to go in round number 4, and against a finisher like Mindoro, that could well be a long 90 seconds. Camilleri on the ropes above our commentary position, bobbing and weaving, trying to hold off, but he's taken a right uppercut, and the towel has come in from Dino Billinghurst in the corner of the Australian Joel Camilleri, stopping this contest early, and exuberant celebrations in acknowledgement of another inside the distance victory for Weljon Mindoro. He got his man going at the start of that round, and once he sensed he was going, well, he was relentless, but he was not reckless. Showed patience, got him into the position that he wanted him, and as we talked about with his punching power, once he began to let those hands go against the stationary target, well, the writing was on the wall for Joel Camilleri. He deserves immense credit, because over the course of the first 4 rounds, he boxed very well indeed. But as is often the case when sharing a ring with a puncher, you've got to remain switched on for every moment that they remain upright.
You absolutely do, and we were wondering, weren't we, in between rounds, whether at the end of the 3rd round there was a danger sign there, because he was starting to fight Mindoro's fight more, and was that because he was confident, was that because his feet were slowing down? And then right at the start of the 4th, he got involved straight away in the kind of fight that really he didn't want to be in. The referee seemed to give a standing count the first time around, which he shouldn't have done, because there are no standing counts in professional boxing. You can adjudge that the ropes have kept the fighter up, but that wasn't really the case, I don't think. So that actually bought him a bit of time, but there was just no getting off the hook, was there? Because Mindoro was all over him like a rash. I think it was an uppercut that he walked onto in the end, and there was a long time left in the round. The towel came in from the corner. I don't think the referee even really saw it.